Hey, welcome back to the No Comfort Zone. This is Dan, episode number 420, Leaders in Action.
Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
So it's March 11th, 2021. I'm on my way to driving actually right now while I'm podcasting, on my way to a speaking event. It's going to be a live event with social distancing applied, as well as there's going to be a lot of people on a Zoom call. So I don't know how it's going to go. Never done anything like this before, but I definitely will update you. And I guess what motivated me to do a podcast this morning is the fact that I was going through my slides and I may have made a few adjustments last night in regards to the direction of what I was going to talk about. And I don't necessarily really know why I was asked to speak at this, because it's called Leaders in Action. And although from my title, I would be considered a leader, sometimes I feel that I'm not the leader. And that's such an inconsistency when you listen to a lot of different people out there about owning it and about, extreme ownership and a lot of things that happen on the way to leadership. But then again, while I'm saying that I'm the leader, like I'm the one that's responsible for all these people. And the more and more I look at it, it's leadership is really just keeping the community of people together and getting them all going the right direction. Now, I don't do it perfectly. And quite frankly, I'll tell you transparently on this podcast, as I communicate to you to all over the world, can you believe it? We've actually reached, this podcast has reached everywhere in the world. It's gone everywhere. It's almost in every country now. And I can't believe how grateful I am. Or that sounded wrong. I cannot believe how far this has reached. And I'm extremely grateful to have an opportunity to talk to you. I'm humbled. I really am. And I appreciate all of the listeners that are out there. And it just keeps growing and growing. And quite frankly, I couldn't even imagine who would want to listen to a guy driving to and from work, talking about his day to day, but more importantly, talking about having adversity, dealing with adversity and getting over adversity and living a successful life based on all of the failures that I've seemed to put in my way by my own doing. And here I am driving to a leadership event talking about this. So the group that is, it's a Chamber of Commerce event and it's in Crystal Lake, Illinois. And I went last year and I went to the year prior and I'm honored to speak at it. It's a panel of speakers. Today is my day. And then we're going to come back in a week and we're all going to meet and be on the panel at the same time. And I couldn't help but keep going over my slides and realizing that how really what's the most important person in any leadership role is the one following. See, without good followers, there is no such thing as a good leader. And when you put that in perspective and you look at history and you look at, or you consider great leaders, it's who believes in you the most. Who really believes in you? I work with some great people. I have a great team of people surrounding me. Is every day happy, rainbow, sunshines and all that? No, it's not. There's not. It's very rarely is it like that. But what's nice is when everyone gets going and they take one step in the right direction, there's chaos, and then all of a sudden everyone lines up and then there's one step in the right direction. It feels amazing. And then another step. And another step, and then you have momentum. And that's the super exciting part. And that's the joy of being a leader, when everyone starts to go the same direction and the results are good for everyone. And by speaking at this event, I kind of realized that over the past, however long, I'm taking leadership for granted, kind of forgetting the role that it's not really about me. Not that I'm a self-centered person, I'm not an arrogant person, but really what it is, there's this group of people that are around me, and the group of people is really what's most important. So after going over these slides, I realized that I really do need to check in with my people more. So the podcast listener, wherever you're at in the world, check it out. Who are the people that you need to check in? Who are the people that you're responsible for? All of us listening to this podcast are leaders in some way, shape, or form. Whether you lead from the front, whether you lead from the rear or the middle, wherever it is that you find yourself having the influence, and you do have influence to lead people, influence people, wherever you're at in that, you have to kind of check in with your people that are around you, that surround you. And then you have to identify, who are those people? And then you have to value what those people really bring to the table. I think one of the things that I'm going to say that has been the most challenging is effective communication. And effective communication in leadership is making sure that the message is clearly understood, making sure that as the leader, you understand any obstacles or challenges that are going to be in that person's way, and doing your best as the leader to remove those. If you go back to step number 1 of leadership, we've talked about it on the podcast before, it really, truly, absolutely comes down to this. The leader is the person who holds the highest standard and is taking action on that standard. There are so many people that have ideas. There's so many people that have opinions. There are so many people that understand what the problem is. But the person that comes in with the solution and the standard to solve the problem and serve the greater good is the leader, regardless of the role, the title, or wherever they're at. And you know what? For you listeners out there, you might be in a leadership position, but you might not be the leader. And that's okay. That is 100% okay. Remember, if somebody in the group is working with other people as a team to accomplish and serve the greater good of the organization, it's okay for that person to be the leader. Every leader needs a good follower. So you should follow that person and make sure you support them and help in any way you can in the influence you have in your position. It's your job to remove the obstacles out of their way so that they can do more of what they're doing. You see, when you hire somebody, when you bring somebody in, when you have somebody in your family, when you're connected to anyone, there's an absolute realization that that person's going to fill a role, whatever that role might be. Whether it's a mother, whether it's a father, as a mother or father, you're going to have to fill another role. My wife always tells me there's no way that a man can fill a mother's role. Well, there is in certain ways, and I'm not saying forever, but you kind of fill in that role and do the best you can. Well, there's also other things that are involved too, like within an organization. You might have somebody that's, let's say, for example, that's a greeter or a receptionist or an administrative assistant. That person is just in a highly organized, good communicator. That person also needs to multitask. That person also needs to make sure that the culture of the organization is spread through let's say the manager or the boss or whoever it might be. And then also for any admin assistants that might be working with that person as well. So that culture needs to transcend through the organization. And it's that receptionist responsibility, that's what they bring to the table, to make sure that that culture is spread throughout the organization. I hope that makes sense. And more importantly, if you don't know your role where you stand as a leader, whether you're good, bad, indifferent, or if you are in fact are the alpha leader, whatever that might be, you just might need to do something as simply put out the standards in place. Here are the standards we're going to work towards. Here's what's going to be acceptable. Here's what's not. Here's the consequences for doing or not doing. And in the end, what are we going to do to work together so that we can accomplish the greater good and the greater goal and get everybody going in the same direction? It's fascinating. So here I am rambling on this lovely podcast. But if you are questioning anything I'm talking about, dealing with a little personal adversity, if you need a little bit of help, I created a blueprint. I'll send it to you. Hit me up at my email, dan@thenocomfortzone.com. I'll send you the blueprint. I could send you a video along with it to let you know or explain to you how to use the blueprint. And if you want to go more in depth and if you need to have a conversation about where you're at and where you want to go, hit me up, 30-minute phone call. I'll have that opportunity to talk with you. I do have a day job, so it's going to be one of those things we'll have to schedule it where it's going to be what I would say most convenient for me. Just kidding. We'll figure it out. It's either really in the morning or late at night, but I do want to help in any way that I can, either help you get through adversity, help you avoid adversity, or more importantly, when you're done with all that nonsense, learn from the adversity that you just got through. And hope you have a great day today. And I want to let you know one thing. As I ramble on, staring into the sun as I'm podcasting, today's the day, really, truly think about it. March 11th, 2021. Today's the day that you get out of your comfort zone and you live on purpose.
say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye.